I play a lot of video games, and as a variety streamer, I've gotten to experience some of the best titles in all genres. This past year alone, I've played over 70 different games, some of which left a huge impact on me. After looking back on everything I've played, I decided to rank what I thought were the top games I've played this past year. I wanted to share my experiences with you all and maybe encourage you to play something you haven't. So without delay, let's get into the top 5 best games I've played and what makes these titles so incredible. Earlier this year, I was introduced to the Resident Evil series and had a great time playing Resident Evil Village. It was a cool game with cool enemies and cool combat. Yeah, Resident Evil 8 is cool. And then I played Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, which just punched me right in the dick. This game is absolute nightmare fuel. Take your cool game and throw it right out the window. This game is fight or flight and will have you in panic mode through most of your playthrough. You find yourself locked in a house, but you're not alone. With you is a family of murderous psychopaths. The cast of main antagonists is done so well, and is the main reason why I rank this game so high. You still have your solid visuals and a fair share of decent combat and puzzles, but the enemies in this game feel so believable and are for the most part well written. Some of them will freely move around the house, hunting you as you try to solve puzzles and play through the game. Every action the villains take just feels so believable as to what a batshit crazy psychopath would do. This game makes you live through a horror movie, and is a must-have for any horror enthusiast. I found myself sitting up in my chair with my heart racing through most of my playthrough. It was a wild ride and a memorable experience that I definitely recommend if you like action, horror, or puzzles. You can currently buy it for $8 on Steam. Given its affordable cost, I rate this game an 8.5 out of 10, and happily place it as the 5th best game I've played this year. Coming in 4th is Cuphead. Well, the DLC of Cuphead. I played the mainline game of Cuphead at about the time it released, and was blown away by this crazy high-speed, hand-drawn game that mainly focused on difficult boss battles, great music, and capturing a style like no other. I loved it, and the delicious Last Course DLC served up just about everything I loved about the original game and added even more. They introduced a new playable character, new guns, new mechanics, new charms, and a plethora of new bosses, and even some other fun stuff to do on the island. Cuphead is a game that I would recommend to just about everyone, with a friendly reminder it won't be a particularly easy experience. I don't mind hard games, but they certainly aren't for everyone. However, the one issue I did find in the Cuphead DLC is that some of the boss phases felt less focused or unique to their character, and more like a lazy bullet hell at times. I don't dislike bullet hells, I just found it to be a bit redundant within the DLC. I only found this on a few bosses though, so overall it didn't hinder my enjoyment of it, and I'd still rank the DLC a high 9 out of 10. Currently, you can buy it for $8, so I'd say it's worth it for any Cuphead enjoyer. And of course, if you're up for a challenge and somehow haven't played Cuphead yet, I can't recommend the main game enough. I play a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's. Some would say too much Five Nights at Freddy's. I've played main games, fan games, challenge runs, and even went to Chuck E. Cheese once if that counts. But out of every FNAF game I've played, one title stands far above the rest. Five Nights at Freddy's, The Joy of Creation. Before I continue, you should know one thing about this game. It is a free fan game. Yes, you heard it here, a fan game. And it's just that good. This game is scary, hard, has great voice acting, nice cutscenes, and each night is unique with its own style of gameplay. Most FNAF games often have you doing the same thing each night. Whether it's checking cameras or closing doors, it can at times be redundant. with the only changes being that it'll get slightly harder and maybe introduce some new characters with each passing night. However, each night in Joy of Creation is an entirely new experience, and not a single night was a miss. Each night is very different in gameplay, and despite that, they're all still fun and unique in their own ways. One night you're a baby in a crib fending off animatronics, the next you're free roaming as an adult exploring the spooky basement. I love this game and would recommend it to any horror fan, not just FNAF fans. The game also has a feature where the character you're playing as might go insane. This makes your game just shit itself and will force you to continue gameplay as various hallucinations appear on screen, making it even harder and more horrifying to succeed in the later parts of the night. It's everything I want to see in a FNAF game. It sits at a solid 9.5 out of 10, and it's free! Head to GameJolt and try it out if it sounds at all interesting to you. I can't recommend it enough. Coming in at number 2.
Welcome to my game. The rules of this game are simple. There is no right or wrong, only consequences.
Okay, only consequences.
When you beat the game, the prize of eternal happiness is yours.
Little Misfortune is a game about a girl who's down on her luck. As you progress through the game, you find out that every decision you make has consequences, leading to various outcomes and multiple endings. This game is incredible, with a beautiful soundtrack that fits the tone of each part of the game you'll find yourself in. The visual style also fits the game so well. Its dialogue is very well written, though there can be a lot of it. This isn't some crazy, flashy, action-packed platforming FPS game. You'll mainly find yourself walking around and making decisions that will impact the dialogue and the story. If that kind of gameplay sounds boring to you, then I'd say to watch someone play this game rather than playing it yourself. Yes, I said watch it. Even if the gameplay isn't for you, it's still that good. Despite the gameplay sounding lackluster, I never once found myself bored. The plot is incredibly interesting, and the game's dialogue constantly had me doing detective work to try to figure out the dark secrets that the game was hiding from me. The dialogue was often funny or hinting at clues towards the main plot. The consequences of your actions range from serious to sometimes really funny. The game does a good job of pulling you along and pacing itself. I can't say much about the story without spoiling it, but it takes you on a wild ride, with a story that moved me to tears. Little Misfortune is currently $20, and I have no problem giving it a 10 out of 10. I consider it a masterpiece, and one that will stick with me forever. I could see some people not resonating with its gameplay, quirky vibes, or darker themes. But if you're into visual novels, mystery, storytelling, or just want a unique experience, this game is definitely worth looking into. And now, for the number 1 best game I've played this year. Okay, look, I know this game looks goofy, but this is one of the best goddamn games I've ever played. Pizza Tower is nothing short of a masterpiece and deserves unbelievable praise. Everything I'm about to say still won't do it justice. It's a zany game that reminds me of old Sonic. You go fast, but you also blow through enemies, punch, throw, chomp, and pile drive anything that stands in your way. You play as Peppino, a wonderful man who owns a pizza shop, but one day Pizza Tower appears and threatens Peppino's pizza shop. You now must climb Pizza Tower and work your way up to the top. It is an adventure like no other, with each level being so unique in its own way. You can run through the city of pigs, travel through Gnome Village, race with horses, play golf, and so much more. There are tons of transformations, weapons, and even other characters to use, and none of them feel bad. They all feel fleshed out and very fun. That is the best way to describe this game. It is just so much fun. The art style can be a bit daunting at first, but it really grew on me as I played through the game, and helps show how much personality the game actually has. As for the game's music, it is stupid how hard this soundtrack goes. I find myself humming the songs constantly, even when I'm not playing the game. The tracks will hype you up, make you want to go faster, and amplify the entire experience for you. The boss battles of this game are all insane, capturing intensity and making you feel like you're in an epic 1v1 fight for your life. The game is honestly a flawless masterpiece and has one of the best endings I've seen in gaming. Pizza Tower is just fun. There's no other way to describe it. It's $20 on Steam, but honestly, I'd give them more money if I could. This game is an easy 10 out of 10, the best game I've played this year, and you should play it too.